Hey, bro. How are you? Okay. How's Mexico? Okay. You live here now?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, wow. How's Philly? So, how's Mexico going?
Mexico's not bad. It's actually going pretty well.
Okay.
We just started our last trimester of this year, and hopefully by the end of this year, I can finally call myself a second-year medical student.
Look at you. You're about to become a doctor, like a full-fledged doctor. That's really amazing. Like,
Yeah, thanks, bro.
you're making everybody proud. That's awesome. So the reason why I'm here, is for my research on brain drain.
Right.
And we're doing kind of like a visual where we are interviewing like younger African professionals,
Right.
and we're just talking about the experiences, right?
Mm-hmm.
And trying to create a talk and a discussion on brain drain and how like a lot of like brilliant African students are leaving the
Right,
continent.
right.
Have you met like any Africans in your program or in your school?
Actually, my roommate is supposed to be a doctor too. Actually, we're both from the surgeons, and hopefully we can go back to Nigeria someday. To help out.
That's amazing. I mean, this way?
Yeah, this way.
Okay. So brain drain, what do you guys think about it? What do you guys know about it?
I guess in my opinion, I could say when I was still back in Nigeria, there was a lot of people that I thought, were smart and they were gonna go places, we would have kids that would get, I guess, hundreds in all the tests. And you think to yourself that, okay, maybe when the time comes for you to go to college, you'll probably get first in because of your grades and all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
And when I did come to America and find out years later about those kids, I'm like, oh, so whatever happened to, getting into college? And the guy's like, oh, I'm still trying, man. It's like really hard and all that stuff. And I guess in retrospect, you think someone like that, if they got the opportunity to leave the country, that's Nigeria's loss, They're gone, and then they come to countries like this and they become someone great. And then Nigeria's like, oh yeah, we have our citizens, but they're just going away. They don't want to come to Nigeria, but how are you going to want to come to Nigeria if Nigeria is not going to benefit you in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I get it. Judge, I was telling someone the other day. I was like, I feel like the African dream has begun to leave Africa.
To leave Africa.
Like there's no one I talk to, my age, who lives in Africa, who wouldn't, if you give them the opportunity, who wouldn't get on the next flight out of the country. What do you think about that?
I think I can actually understand their plight because in Africa you can work hard but doesn't guarantee you anything actually. In Africa you can go to school, get a master's degree, but someone here who's just working 9 to 5 can be more prosperous than you,
Yeah.
In Africa, like when I visit, the people who are doing public transportation, riding motorcycles, they're actually college graduates, master's students, things like that sort. So the promised land is not Africa, the promised land is getting out of Africa.
One of the reasons why I really was like passionate about this is because like everywhere I go, like young African talent is everywhere, right? Like especially in America and the UK, like top companies, there's no place you go where there isn't an African person.
Right.
That's killing it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And like that doesn't translate to the continent. So my idea and like the plan is to highlight African talent, but also kind of show what Africa is missing. And that's why like I wanted to talk to. I think you guys are a perfect example. Being in med school, about to become a doctor, I want to talk about your experiences in Nigeria, like your stories, coming here, and what you think in terms of how the healthcare is so messed up. Like there was a stat that I read. It said that there was about 0.038. I'm not sure exactly. Doctors per 1,000 people in Nigeria, right? In the U.S. alone, there's over 25,000 Nigerian doctors.
Wow.
In the U.S. alone. So think about that. There's not even one doctor per 1,000 people. And in the US alone, there's over 25,000 doctors. So that shows you the brain drain, right? But that's the detrimental effects of brain drain.
Mm-hmm.
But also there's also the benefits of brain drain, right? The individual benefits of you guys. So if you guys could tell me, kind of talk about like your experiences, living here, and how that has shaped you, and how that's like kind of to where you are now,
Right.
Being in med school.
Right. So like my own life experience is a perfect example of African natives moving to America to have a better life for their children, which is what most people that move over here want to do.
Yeah.
My mother, she got her bachelor's degree in Nigeria in economics. She ran her own business, but when I was about 4 years old, she saw a better opportunity long term for her children here. So we all moved to Nigeria. I moved to America, and she did what most Nigerian immigrants do here. She went the nursing route, because with healthcare system here, there's infrastructure to help support your ambition, which we don't have in Nigeria. In Nigeria, to go to medical school or nursing school, you have to be able to pay those kind of things up front.
Mm-hmm.
The government does not support your ambition, your dreams, right? So it's only the wealthy who are allowed to dream if you think about it. So
Interesting.
the difference here is that you can come to America, you can dream, you can do what you have to do, and then the government is able to financially support that dream. So I feel like the reason why we see a lot of American doctors and things of that sort, Nigerian doctors come to America to work, is not only is the infrastructure in place to support your dream,
Mm-hmm.
you actually be working compensated for your hard work here.
That's right. What do you think?
I guess if I could say like why I guess I was interested in medicine. A couple of years back, actually much farther back, my grandmother got into an accident. She actually, my grandmother and my mom's friends from childhood friend got into an accident. My mom's friend died on the spot. My grandmother, she was able to survive, but unbeknownst to her, she had suffered a subdural hematoma, which is very slow growing bleed in the brain.
Okay.
So up until like 2 to 3 weeks after the accident, she started to feel the symptoms of that bleed in her brain. And at this point, she would just randomly faint, or she would be incongruent. She doesn't know what's going on, and they had to get her to a neurosurgeon so they could operate on her. They took her to the first hospital, which was UCH. When they got to UCH, what they told them was that we don't have the power in terms of electricity to sustain this surgery that's this long to be able to save this person right now. So we would have to send you to Lute in Lagos. When they got to Vegas, it was the same story. And they're like, oh, well, the neurosurgeon actually is not, here right now. And also the backup generators are not working fine, so we don't really know if this is going to be possible right now. And this is someone in an emergent condition. Now imagine, my grandmother lived in Kwara State to Oyo State, and from Oyo State to Lagos State. It's almost 6 to 8 hours, and she's suffering a brain hemorrhage. So they had to take her back. They took her to, Osun State, and that was when they found, luckily for her, there was an American neurosurgeon who was doing, a conference in Nigeria at that time, and he was able to intervene and drain the blood in her brain, and she was able to survive that event. Now, if you look at that in its own self, kind of tells you the amount of infrastructural, disabilities that Nigeria has in some sense. Damage, I was not born in this country. I'm going to medical school where I pay close to $50,000 a year. I don't have that kind of money. The United States government supports me to go to medical school, educate me, and I'm very well compensated for it in the future. So why would I want to, go through all of that, hardship, go to medical school, make a certain amount of money here in the United States, and then say, you know what, I'm just gonna let everything go and just go to Nigeria, where I'll probably not even make as much as that.
Okay. So basically, what I was able to hear from two of you is what you're saying is the African continent in general that does not have the ability to develop your brain, right? Like your brain isn't even developed, right? Like it gets here is when you're able to develop your brain and you're able to get opportunities and go to school and get educated and acquire a skill, right? So do you think a lot of the African people here that are doing so much, or just you guys individually, if you had stayed on the continent or stayed on the African continent, would you still be where you are today? Would you still be in med school? Would you still be in med school?
Speaking Would I still be in med school? Here's the thing about the education system here in America and the education system back in Nigeria. In America, going to medical school has the most important factor is your ability to learn and things of that sort, right?
Okay.
In Nigeria, your ability to learn plays a certain role, but it's your financial capabilities that play the most important role. You're rarely gonna find someone who cannot afford to go to medical school, that can pay all their tuition up front, go to medical school in Nigeria. Like we said earlier, there is no such thing as like credits. There's no such thing as a government supporting the dreams of people. If like my parents aren't not wealthy, so I can't imagine asking them to pay someone something around 10 million naira every year to go to medical school for what you said 8 years. That's about 80 million naira. I mean, paying that up front. Unlike America, the only reason I'm able to do this in America is because they support $50,000 tuition. Like it's the government actually invests in their people. Nigerian government does not invest in their people. In fact, it's quite the opposite. They're taking back from their people. So there's no such thing as American government and governments of successful countries. You see, they invest in their people, invest in their dreams, and then they use the human resource as the most important resource there is. So I feel like that's the main big difference. Nigerian people don't really see the human resource as being the most important thing as most of these other countries see.
So you're saying that people that so essentially you're saying you wouldn't be in med school.
No, I would not be
if you were in Nigeria.
Right.
And do you think you'd be in med school?
I would not be in med school.
You would not be in med school.
And I guess the thing is also like it's not that people are not smart in Nigeria. We have brilliant people in Nigeria. Once again, it's because the government doesn't support the dreams. And those brilliant people end up leaving Nigeria because they want to, I guess, search for a better life or better opportunities. And once they find it, it's very unlikely they just end up bringing their entire family here because then you want a better life for your family.
So essentially, you can't blame people for wanting to leave, right?
No.
People are leaving, including myself, for better opportunities.
Right.
I guess, and that brings me to the question where you said that you hope to go back one day to help or to make a difference. Do you feel the same way, and like in what capacity? Because at the end of the day, you wouldn't. The lifestyle you live in America is going to be different from the lifestyle in Nigeria, and I can't really imagine someone giving everything up here that you've achieved to go there and struggle. But I'm someone that firmly believes in the need for human capital, and the fact that in a developing continent in general, if the smartest people are leaving the people with the skills, then it doesn't get better, right? That's if everyone is leaving and no one is willing to either stay or no one is willing to come back, it's not gonna get better. So as future doctors, both of you, do you plan to go back, and in what capacity do you plan to go back? And you may know that now. You might not know that now. But do you ever think about going back in some way?
I definitely do want to go back and give back to someone. That's one of my main motivations to practice medicine, period. It's one of my main motivations to aspire to be any specific specialty. When my grandmother was 36, she actually passed away from a heart problem, and that kind of resonated with me. A 36-year-old woman in a rural Africa without access to a lot of healthcare,
Mm-hmm.
I want to save other people from that certain fate. So one of my main missions in medicine is to go back and give back. And I actually know my uncle's actually a surgeon right now in Lagos, and he actually opened up a surgical center, state-of-the-art, with many different specialties, and he's able to give back to people and bring new talents. Laparoscopic surgery, he specializes in laparoscopic surgery, which is like a more non-invasive type of surgery.
Okay.
So he's able to give back to people in different ways, and I feel like for me, Nigeria, here's a mistake most people make. Nigeria is also a very big market if you can make it. It's honestly the richest market in the African continent if you can tap into it.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like we, as the generation of Nigerians who are being educated in America, if we can go back and bring our skills back to Nigeria, we can definitely help expedite the process of making this a huge market. Like we can bring skills to the people. We can educate the people. We can we can make it so much better. I think I saw a billboard on plastic surgery now in Nigeria. Like there's a plastic surgeon now able to do cases like that. So we are the future of Nigeria. If we want Nigeria to become better, and with the skills we learned from the Western world, we have to bring it back ourselves. And I think Nigeria is a great market to do that.
Okay. And you definitely want to go back somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to go back. I want to be, I guess, a force of change. We all want to be a force of change in some way. It's very important for you to realize that, you know, if we can't do it, then who's going to do it? You know, looking at, you can think of like the futures of tomorrow. I mean, the leaders of tomorrow, the little kids. We need inspiration, because if we say that we're going to give up on everyone, well, people really can't thrive on, you know, lack of, I guess, motivation.
Okay.
And yeah, so pretty much.
And to people to younger Africans who come here, who don't go back, like how do you think you can better kind of to motivate them to want to go back in some way? Like what's the reason? Like what's the reason for people to want to go back? Because like we said, we talked about all the damage on the African continent and all the stuff that's wrong. So why should, if I don't want to go back as a young person, why do you think I should go back?
Well, I think it's necessary to at least have some inkling or some sense of patriotism to go back. We come from one place and one place alone. No matter where you're educated, you know, no matter which country you're educated, you have like an obligation to grow your own place from. Kids that are like you back home, they don't have these skills, they don't have this ability. They need your input. They need you to be that new door. You know, the point of going out and gathering something is to bring back and share with your people. Be it knowledge, be it skills, be it a new mindset, new way of thinking, and it will also motivate someone like me, another doctor that came to America because they saw it has better opportunities than Nigeria. If I also motivate them to go back, I would do the same thing a lot of other people who have gone to Nigeria and been successful have seen, is that Nigeria is one of the biggest places to grow. It is basically a canvas waiting for painters. And that canvas is very rich, has a lot of opportunities to it. So I would really like to let them see that, hey, it's not all the negative. There's a place for you to grow, and Nigeria wants to grow along with you, and it will support you once you put the input.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. I guess what he's saying is absolutely correct. I applied for like a grant a while back, and essentially they asked you like what, I guess they asked me to write a personal statement, and I kind of just wrote that if there's anything more important in this world, is that no matter how far you go, you always got to look back, and you have to go back and try to bring with you as many people as you can.
Okay.
They say, I guess, you go fast if you go alone, but you go far if you go together, right? So, you know, in what way would I be successful if I can claim, I guess, my successes and say, well, I'm a neurosurgeon, or I'm a cardiothoracic surgeon, and you know what? I'm not doing anything to, you know, better the lives of others. I mean, you can save as many lives as you want, but maybe as a surgeon, your best work isn't cutting into people, it's actually instilling in people that they can do that too.
And I guess giving access to people that wouldn't normally have that opportunity.
And most importantly, being the youth, or I guess future leaders of tomorrow, is that we can create a change or a revolution that can, I guess, bring in a change of mind to our, I guess, older leaders that they claim to lead our country, but just leading it into the demise of anything. And I do know, like, you know, people were claiming now that, well, you should step up. Like, why not, you know, run for president or run for governor? But, I mean, it's almost impossible for you to do that if, you know, the man who's tried to be president every year for the past 50 years is running against you, and he has all the resources in the world. How are you gonna, I guess, go against that?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, the system.
The system
is all correct. One of the final questions I ask you guys is why do you think African students do so well?
African students do so well.
Yeah. Like, what do you think African students? Because everywhere, I don't know about you, but everywhere I go, right, whether it's a financial institution, whether it's a government job, whether it's a conference, it's swarmed with young African talent, young African people. Like, what's so unique about African people that we're everywhere, we're doing it everywhere? Like, why do you think that is?
We pride ourselves on education. Like, we love education. We love learning. Honestly, like I said, alluded to earlier, even the people who are doing the menial jobs are college graduates in Nigeria. We love education. We love to learn. Honestly, one of the things I'm most happy with in my life is I actually got back to experience the Nigerian education system.
Okay.
The years I spent in Nigeria, I remember I came to Nigeria and from Kona School in America for some time, and I came back to a school, like a private school in Nigeria, White Sands School in Lekki. I never experienced a class rank system ever in my life before. In Nigeria, it's one of the things in every school. I'm sure you had that in your school, and your school back to Nigeria. So they pride themselves on who's number one in class, like first place, second place, third place. Like you get, it's like your education is more important than sports even sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Like your first, it doesn't care if you came first in the race, what place are you in class, you know? And I got to experience that, and I really felt my love for education grow. I remember I was like, oh, my first report card, I got 12th place. I was like, my mom was like, oh, that's pretty good coming from America. With me, I was already competitive at that point. I wanted to do better. And my next report card, I got 4th place. I was like, my goodness. I knew who was getting first and second and third too, so it's always burning you. So the report card right before I came to America, I looked at it and I actually got 1st place. And that same fire for education has followed me even till today. That's probably why I'm so ambitious in school. I don't settle for anything less than what I know I can be and as the best. And I feel like Nigerians carry that with them everywhere. It's like, you know you can be great. Your education system challenges you and supports you, and everyone around you has a great look in education. So it just takes them far wherever they go. You know?